Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Baycare Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Mill Home Supper Club, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, American Family Insurance, and Rolltech.
Shut up and sit down.
Back here on Inside Wisconsin with our guest, John Kuhn. John, so Trevor's going to ask you what you love about Wisconsin because that's his thing, and we're going to get into that. What I want to know, you talked about Mike McCarthy. My thought is part of the reason he embraced you here is that you two are the only two that could understand each other, right? Like you guys have the downtown Yinzer thing go. You guys could probably put each other within a block of where you grew up listening to you guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Mike was the good old Western PA boy, and we joked all the time. Like I said, my wife's family was from Aliquippa, so that's a steel mill town. So when he starts talking blue collar, hard working under the underpasses of Greenfield Avenue there in Pittsburgh, I used to just come back with some Aliquippa knowledge to him and try to out Pittsburgh the Pittsburgh man. But that was his personality, and that's what he instilled in his football team. And I think we had great success early on because our team was young. And using that type of personality that he had, we could instill that and win football games because we didn't know how good we were at that point in time. And I think you're seeing a little bit of that down in Dallas right now. And it's funny you bring up Coach Mike. Coach Mike still has a place up in Door County. I have a place in Door County as well, where it's about 3 doors down from each other. So we still get to talk a little bit during the summer. And you talk about that Yinzer slang. Wait until you get a couple pops in the big fella. Then it really starts coming out.
John, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, then the Saints, and you chose to retire as a Packer, and obviously you still live here. Talk to us about why you made that call to come back here and retire as a Packer, because the first question in that press conference from John's cohort there at ESPN, Rob Demoski, was, what is it about Wisconsin? So take us down that path. Tell us that story.
Well, it was simple for us. Once we started, having kids, it was where are we gonna put our roots down at? Now, people don't realize this, and so this is going to be a good little story here for you guys. When you get into the NFL, you move to your city, you move to your team, and depending on where the city is, some guys stay there in the offseason, some guys leave. In the case of Green Bay, many guys leave. Very few stay here. However, we had spent years already where we would leave one city and move to another city in the offseason, me and myself go stay with my wife. But when we got married, she worked at the time, and it was too much for us to then be moving cities in the offseason. So we always just lived here in Green Bay. And when we started having kids, we needed to start thinking seriously about where were we going to stay in the off seasons. We stayed there now because I played football there during the season, and it was just easier than trying to pack everything up, leave and go back to Pennsylvania, or leave and go to Florida, some arbitrary place that's warm in the winter, while she was working. And once we started having kids, we decided, well, why not Green Bay? Why wouldn't we continue to live in Green Bay? We love the people here. The people seem to love us here. Why wouldn't we stay here? Why would we move someplace, some warm weather place, or even just back to Pennsylvania, when the people that we all have kind of come in contact with and become great friends with are really here. So we laid our roots here before we went to New Orleans. We made it our place that we knew we were going to stay post-football. And that was about the point in time in my career where I made it to year 9, 10. And by about that point in time, I decided I was playing with house money anyways. If I got a year or two somewhere else, it was going to be exactly that, just a year or two. And when we went down to New Orleans, we loved it down there as well. We treated that like a vacation, but we still came back to Green Bay in the offseason. So it's just weird. It's your place when you come here during the regular season, you stay for the offseason, and then you go someplace warm, someplace in the South for the regular season, but you come back to Green Bay in the offseason. You come back to the cold and the snow and all that stuff up here in Wisconsin for the offseason. And that's it. I mean, that's enough evidence I ever needed to decide Green Bay is going to be the place for me and my wife. Green Bay is going to be the place where I raise my kids. It's a tremendous place to raise kids here in Northeast Wisconsin. And then the last little piece of the puzzle was finding my foot in the door with the Green Bay Packers and in what capacity. And I was blessed that they allowed me to come back in and work with them in the media department.
you go to New Orleans just for a couple years. People don't. It's the one thing I've learned through 35 years of being in the business and watching this, and it never quite gets the sympathy because they always get, if you make enough money, you should be able to take whatever BS there is, right? Oh, he makes a lot of money. It doesn't matter. But you come to this point where I'd like to be a Packer for life. Packer salary cap. Packer brings in coaches, and suddenly Packer for life isn't possible right away, and you have to make those business decisions. How do you go through that? You sit down, honey, and go, I'm not sure I get to be a Packer for life. You explain how that is, and you still have football in you, and where you are and where you'd like to be isn't always where that opportunity is. And now you have to change.
So, twofold question there. I'll start with this. In my last few seasons in Green Bay, which, I played 13 years in National Football League. 10 of those 13 years were one-season contracts. They were one-year contracts. So we never felt really like we had a whole lot of security the entire time. So every year it's crazy. just playing for your life. And we were okay with that. We that actually became our norm. That became our comfortable. In fact, my 3-year contract that I signed, I got a little uncomfortable going into year 3 because I was a big cap hit now for a fullback position. And I started thinking to the other side, like, can I stick around here as a high cap hit? And, luckily I did. But you start talking about those last couple of years of 1-year deals with the Packers. I wasn't signing those right away. I started seeing the writing on the wall when it was, you're a priority free agent. And then the next time you're a tier 2 free agent. And then the next time we're going to sign you during training camp. We're going to give some other guys an opportunity here. And it just got to the point where I was about midway through training camp in 2016, and the New Orleans Saints called. It was Sean Payton. He said he didn't even know I was a free agent. And what was I doing sitting around? I said, well, I'm waiting to go back and play for the Packers. He said, why don't you come play for us instead? I made a simple phone call to the Packers. I asked them what they would advise me to do. I said, I'd still love and come play for you, but I don't want to miss this opportunity. And I don't think this happens a whole lot in National Football League, but they told me that they said, John, we love what you're able to do. We think you can still play football, but it might be in your best interest to take this opportunity and do it. And I took that as a clean break. I took that as, they're honest with me. I'm honest with them. It's a bummer because I still think, I'm their best option. But I'll go down here and I'll see what this is all about, and I'll see how much I can enjoy myself playing football down here because I knew I wasn't done playing. But when I got down there, I found out, man, there's a lot of different ways to play this game. There's a lot of different ways to go through the process of getting ready to play a game. And there's a lot of brilliant people out there in this NFL world that sometimes it's good to get out and experience new things and see different ways that people do things. It was a tremendous learning experience for myself. And it was a tremendous life experience for me, my wife, and my girls to be down there in New Orleans and live in a city like no other in the U.S., really, when you think about it. It's got some real European vibes to it. We didn't drive cars anywhere. We walked everywhere, and much different experience than what we come back to live to now, but one that we'll treasure forever.
What's it like walking around Green Bay these days, John? I mean, do you go to Festival Foods? Do people pull you aside? Are you walking down the grocery aisle and people just yell Kuhn to you? I mean, you're one of us now, right? You live here. Do you still get it? Or are you able to kind of live your life as a dad and a husband and a community member?
So let me tell you, people yell it way more now than what they ever did before. Much more. Do
you wear a jersey around?
No. I wear my NFLPA though, so they know.
Okay, good. Got it.
But I'll say this: Green Bay is such an intimate town to have a professional team in it. And I used to always say when I was playing, I got much more reaction when I traveled down to Milwaukee or even just to Appleton, just 30 minutes away from Green Bay. They're not used to seeing Packer players every day. They're just not. So when they do see them, they want to take the opportunity to say hi. Great thing. Love it. I think it's fantastic. However, in Green Bay, they have such pride in keeping ownership of this team throughout the last 100 years in a time in the NFL when the only way they could keep this team, if this team had an owner, no way it'd be here. It'd be in a bigger city. So they take pride in that. And because of that, they take ownership in that. And part ownership is making sure that the players and the team, they feel comfortable here. So while I was a player, while we were a team here, people would recognize us, but it wasn't much, fuss. It was a lot of respect, a lot of mutual respect that went around. I think players really loved that, and fans adopted that, and because of that, it made it a tremendous place for players to be able to still go out. Because in a small bubble like this, if it were any other way, I don't think the fans would see the players as much. They'd shelter, they'd clam up, they wouldn't go out nearly as much. You would have no opportunity to see the players. So I think it was recognized both by the fans and by the players that with this type of relationship, a little wink, wink, when you're cashing out there at Qdoba or something to that nature, it was a much more cordial thing for both the players and the fans. Now that I got into radio and people know that I live here and this is my life and I'm a Wisconsinite, my family's, I have a daughter born here, and my wife and I have lived here for, over 10 years now. Now they want to come up and talk, which I love even more, because now I don't have football, or anything like that. So now the fans, they're the closest bond that I still have to playing football. So now I have an opportunity to chop it up with them as much as possible. And yeah, I would say a lot more people come up and talk to me now that I'm done playing than ever did when I did.
So funny, a small hint that I tell people all the time. In Connecticut, people go, "Oh, you must get recognized." I'm like, not really. In Connecticut, people are used to filling up their car next to Chris Berman, and they don't really think a whole bunch of it. And then you get out of it and you go, "Oh, wow." You go to West Virginia or you go to where, and you're like, I guess people do get cable out there. I had no idea. But in Connecticut, there's Dan Patrick. He was at the car wash yesterday. Who knows? Who's stocking the plane on the flight back from Arizona? Is there a trainer? Is there a manager? Who's involved in that situation?
Well, I'd say if I told you, I'd have to kill you, but more like if I told you, they'd all kill me. So I won't be giving that secret away.
That's all you really need in life is a guy. You don't have to have a name. You just got to have a guy.
You need a guy, and you need one of these. John Kuhn, look over John Anderson's shoulder. See that little plaque back there? That is a piece of Packers stock.
Yep, there it is.
And we know that this is going to happen again. And I saw on Twitter the other day that John Kuhn said, I'm in. I'm a Wisconsinite. I'm one of us, and I don't own a piece yet. So, John Kuhn, you're going to become a Packers team owner here soon, hopefully, right?
Yeah, and it's funny, the change in my impressions and feelings about this. As a player, I thought it was crazy. I did. I thought, I can't believe the Packers go and sell these pieces of paper for $250 a pop, and this is what people are willing to do. But when you dive down deep into it and you really find out about the history of the Green Bay Packers and the purpose that the stock still has, right? It's an optional donation so that the team can make upgrades that fans that want to donate, and even other fans that either can't or unwilling to do it, they get to reap the rewards and the benefits of a team staying here in this small town, to be able to have a professional team, and not just a professional team, but to have that historic Lambeau Field and have it as nice and as close to perfection as they can possibly have it. I think it's a tremendous thing. You look at what's going down in Chicago right now. They're buying land in the suburbs. They're not going to play at Soldier Field forever. This stock is to ensure that the Green Bay Packers not only play at Lambeau forever, but that Lambeau is the most tremendous experience for its fans, for its people that love the Packers. And I think if I'm going to live here in Wisconsin and I'm going to call myself a Wisconsinite, I might as well consummate the marriage and get myself some Packer stock, because what other way is there?
I just feel like you were the ultimate salesman. Like, did you have notes from the franchise on that? Because I get it back in the day when it needed it for survival. It was all about survival. They almost went under. These days, I'm not so sure. I feel like they're doing okay. I've seen the contracts that they get from the networks. I feel like the Packers are safe. I don't feel like they're
probably safe. I don't think
they're on the precipice of financial ruin at any point. Now, it's great if people are still going to do it. I just don't know that it's quite as desperate as it has been in the past. So, I'm all for those. Like I said, I have mine too. But at some point, I'm like, I think, I feel like the bottom line right now is okay.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Baycare Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Mill Home Supper Club, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, American Family Insurance, and Roll Tech.
JA Inside Wisconsin and American Family Insurance. We're calling it Quotes for a Cause. Pretty awesome.
I like it. I want to learn more, and I'm glad that we are a part of this with American Family. My thought is, listen, if it's good enough to be on the Brewer Stadium, or you can put it on Steve Stricker's sleeve, that is a great partner, great neighborhood. I'm glad we're there.
Us too. We are glad we're here with them. It's Quotes for a Cause. Head to InsideWisconsin.com/AmFam. Get a quote, and your local participating agent will donate $5 to Habitat for Humanity. John Anderson's going to come and build houses. I just signed you up for that.
Listen, my dad, Collins Custom Basement, for years, donated a basement to Habitat Humanity every year. That he went out and did that in the Green Bay, Brown County area. So I can't think of a better partner, and I can't think of a better cause, especially in and around the holidays, right? Gosh, if you can get somebody home for a holiday and get them in and get them shelter and put that Christmas tree up or have that Thanksgiving dinner, whatever it is, boy, that'd be special. And we are lucky that we get the chance to be a part of it.
InsideWisconsin.com/AmFam. It's Quotes for a Cause. Go and work with your local American Family Insurance agent. Go there now. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance.